And welcome to the Barggianos podcast. Let me tell you, tonight, folks, you guys are in for a special treat. If you're blind, you're going to love this episode because your boy Matt forgot to hit the record button on the video for this episode. So no worries, but luckily we still have the audio, and we figured, hey, let's just push this out as a bonus episode. So, like you said, we try to keep things real around here. So sometimes things like this happen, and we want you guys to feel like you're part of the ride. So, you know, things happen, and we're going to work around it. And hopefully you guys still enjoy this episode of our audio only. So, yeah, use your imagination. Just picture us at the bar and grab yourself a drink, ring that bell, and here we go. And welcome to the Barggianos podcast. I'm your hostess with the leastest. My name is Chuck, and with me, as always,
Matt.
What's up, buddy? How you doing tonight?
Doing wonderful, except I can't get these beers open.
I would say that sounds like a personal problem, but that's kind of going to be including me. So turn that down here. Ooh, I do need a drink.
Yeah,
it's looking delicious. So what else is going on, man? You good?
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a drink, though.
Okay, let's do a drink. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers. Delicious as always.
Ooh, that's nice.
Yeah, so big news came out a couple weeks ago. I'll call it big news because it was almost my first time dealing with like video technology. Skype. You remember Skype?
Yeah, absolutely.
Skype is shutting the doors.
She gone.
She gone.
She gone, like a Hall & Oates song. She gone.
Yeah. I remember, you're more of a techie guy than I am, but I remember using Skype a little bit way back in the day, back when I started, my employer now was using Lotus Notes.
Wow, you're really aging yourself there.
Yeah, but it just kind of, threw me back to some old times. I mean, what do we got? I mean, you can help me out here. We had, up till recently, Skype. We had Zoom.
Do you know what was in between the Skype and, well, not the Zoom, but what Skype came out with next? Microsoft?
Well, I thought Microsoft bought Skype.
I believe it was Skype for Business, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, I do.
That was a big deal because when Skype was bought by Microsoft, that was a huge thing in the techie world because Skype was like a jugular.
Yeah, so then, I don't think Lotus Notes had video.
I've never used Lotus Notes.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
So then you got Teams now. What else do we got out there?
Microsoft Teams, Google Meetups or Hangouts or something.
Oh, Hangouts.
Not a lot of businesses use the Google, but the Microsoft Teams has taken off.
Yeah. So what do you think will happen with Zoom? I mean, that used to be during the COVID times, like everybody used Zoom.
Absolutely. I think it's going to turn into a Peloton situation. Do you remember what Peloton is?
The bike?
Yep. So did you know during COVID that was like the number one thing, the stock took off. I wish I had the numbers right now, but I'm going to be wrong on the numbers, but something like it went down by like 1,000% now. Like it's like someone said, like if you put $10,000 into Peloton, you'd have like $20 left today.
Oh, wow.
And it was taken off. So when COVID was happening, you never heard of Zoom before COVID, did you? I mean, have you?
I mean, I heard of it, but nobody used Zoom. Everybody was in person.
Again, but as far as like it was Skype, it was always Skype.
Oh yeah, right.
But when Zoom took off, it just shot off, and it's still around, absolutely in the business world. But like I said, Microsoft Teams is really on its trail because Microsoft is kind of including everything into one suite. I would say within a few years, all your Microsoft Excels and your Outlooks, all these things are going to be just one app quote unquote, on your computer, and with Copilot is your AI stuff and everything. But it's constantly changing, so there's really no reason to have an individual app like Skype. So they probably just didn't know what to do with it. But they probably use the architecture and all the software to get to where they are today too.
Right. No, that you bring up good points there, because why would Microsoft have Teams and Skype? How many times have you been, at work where it just, companies stop supporting a certain platform because, they came up with something bigger and better. And, since Microsoft bought Skype, why do they need Skype?
Do you remember like the very first Skype call you've ever had? Like just the idea of video chatting like the Jetsons?
I don't. I used it a lot, or the kids used it a lot outside of FaceTime with my sister-in-law who lives in California. So we did use Skype a lot. I had it on my phone.
But think way before FaceTime, way before the iPhone existed. Because this was existing, I'm guessing.
Early 2000s. I think
very early
2002, 2003 is when Skype came out.
I had a phone I bought from Best Buy. It looked like a candy bar, yay big, really cheap feeling plastic. It was a Skype phone, and this was before like iPhones or anything like you could do today. Yeah. People were like, "What's the big deal?" But back then, Skype would work over your Wi-Fi connection, and you could have quote unquote free calls going on from your call. I thought it was so cool, but it just never worked. The product was just a big POS. So. But I remember having that and thinking, wow, this is going to be a game changer. I can make free phone calls, and it didn't work out.
Didn't work.
No.
But, that brings me back to like old memories. Like, what did we enjoy back then? Like Skype, you talk like, oh, game changer. We talked about dial internet, before. But like the games too, when you're playing games like Oregon Trail.
Oh, I love me some Oregon Trail.
Yeah.
That damn dysentery gets you every time, though.
Yeah, whatever it was, whatever disease it was. Have you ever beat that game?
I don't remember. I remember playing it tons and tons and tons as a kid, but...
I never beat that game. I heard of people that did that.
Did you get upset because the cutscenes kind of seemed like a movie to you, and you're like, absolutely not?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this looks like, a John Wayne movie or something. I'm out.
Did you just take the monitor and just toss it off the counter and break it?
No. That's Derek.
Was it in your garage?
No. It was in the living room. But
I remember having those in like 5th grade. There was Oregon Trail, Carbon San Diego. Remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
And then Number Munchers was a big one we played. And that was actually fun. It taught you you go different squares, almost like bingo, but you would munch a number. So it'd give you like 4 times 2, and then above it would be like 8, below it would be 2. You just went to the direction of the right one, but we played the hell out of those games.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
Well, back to Skype. RIP Skype. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Microsoft's got bigger and better things.
How about we pour a little liquor out our mouths to Skype?
Yeah. Skype was the cool thing, but now I'm learning all about, Microsoft Copilot, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, the AI stuff is, I always talk about AI, but it's getting better and better. If you want to do a cool one, if you have Copilot at work, type in what's on my plate today, and it'll go through your emails, your text, everything, and it'll give you like a brief synopsis of what you should be doing, or, yesterday so-and-so asked you this question, you never answered back, and it really does help you out. So try that if you have Copilot. Say, what is on my plate today?
I just got it installed this week. I have no idea how to use it. I have the icon. I'll have to figure it out.
Well, that's a Barggianos tip of the day. Copilot.
What's on my plate today?
What is on my plate today?
All right. Well, that's what I'm going to do. I did see a lot of good information on it, so I'm excited about that. I'm in a lot of meetings. I'm excited about meeting minutes. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't do a lot of meeting minutes because I'm not the host of these meetings.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, how much time is this going to save?
You can also, I was taking a couple of online, not classes, but watching some stuff from Microsoft. Yeah. And one was just 400 billion things you can do, but they were showing some of the neat examples. Well, one example was if you like someone like yourself, you have a ton of meetings you have every day, you can hop on a meeting late and it'll say, catch me up. And it'll say, catch me up only the important parts, or catch me up what John said or whatever it is, and it'll give you a brief synopsis live, even though the meeting is still going on, because it's transcribing and recording everything.
But does that work if the person who is hosting the meeting does not have Copilot?
Yes and no. I mean, at that point, everyone kind of does. It's kind of like your ecosystem would have everything built in.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're an outside and you're having a meeting with somebody from a different company, I'm not sure, but I think so. I think Microsoft just has it built in. And
we got to make an announcement, though, that we're turning Copilot on, and to make sure everybody agrees. And if they don't agree, disconnect the call.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that'll work for me if I join meetings late.
Well, it's not going to like alert somebody. It
does.
It just catches you up.
No, when we turn Copilot on, it's got like a little pop-up on our screens that Copilot was activated.
Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, speaking of school or young things, when we, I guess, let's say back in the day when we talked about Oregon Trail.
Oh, I love the Oregon Trail.
Yeah. Do you ever remember like the good times in school, like end of the year treats and snacks and
like birthdays? You get to bring cupcakes in.
Yeah. Now that, I mean, for a while that never happened where you can't bring stuff in. But there was a story down in Texas.
Okay.
No, correction, Los Angeles. The news was out of Los Angeles where a mother, I have the news story pulled up, ready to go. It is Channel 4, Los Angeles. And I'll quote just the first sentence. This was over a Christmas party. A Texas mother who officially took alcoholic JELLO shots to her child's elementary school's Christmas party has been arrested.
Good?
Yeah, good, right? But how does that happen?
Was there any more information on it?
Oh, yeah. She decided to buy JELLO shots from someone on Facebook Marketplace, according to the news story.
So she went to jail because she's lazy.
Yeah, she claims that she thought they were non-alcoholic JELLO shots.
You think you might try one of your JELLO shots that you bought from a complete stranger that you're giving to 30, 40 different kids, but that's just my opinion. What do I know?
Yeah. So let's take this in, like 3 stages. Pre-COVID, 5 years ago, did anybody care about snacks or drinks that were brought to school?
No.
I mean you can bring
10%, but nothing was like, oh my God, you got to make sure, you just brought what you brought.
And people would eat it. Nobody had a problem with it. Then step 2, COVID comes around. And then once everybody goes from, staying at home to school, what happens? Like nobody, I know in our kids' school, like you couldn't bring nothing in. You couldn't share anything.
Do you think it's like that still to this day, though?
Oh, I think there's a lot of places like that. I don't know how the kids' school is.
I think it got like that for sure, but I think it's got a little more lax where they're not as anal about it. But yeah, definitely pre-COVID, post-COVID, definitely different rules.
Yeah, for a while you had to buy store-bought goods in order to bring anything in.
I love when people bring food into work. I don't know, just the last few years, and maybe because of COVID, but it started where if someone brings something home or from to eat as a snack for their like fellow employees from home that they made or whatever, I do not touch it because I don't want to get sick. I don't want how long has this been sitting out? And I've known this for a fact. Like you hear one thing and then you kind of like it's sticking with me for a while. So a guy at my work was like, "Oh, my wife made these, let's say, cookies." And it looked delicious. I knew the wife was a great baker of cookies, all this stuff. And then I found out, he goes, yeah, they were from my kid's birthday party, and the kid's like 2 years old. And I'm like, how many kids and adults have touched all these cookies, and now you're leaving them out? And they were out for like 3 days at work. Best of intentions, absolutely. But ever since stuff like that, I'm like, that looks delicious. I'm not touching it. I'm not going to get sick. And it seems to work. Like I can legitimately tell a difference of how much, like a ton, but like wintertime, I got sick less from touching things. Like don't touch your face, make sure you wash your hands. But
yeah,
I'm like, not worth that one delicious bite of chocolate chips to be sick for 2 weeks.
So, funny story. I don't think I ever told you this. My oldest daughter has got a, let's call it professional job. She's got a career job. She was offered by a coworker because she handles a lot of administrative stuff. So, the place will have food trucks and baked goods and catering events. And in order for employees to, I'll say, promote their business, there's forms and everything they have to fill out to get in to be a vendor, whether it's an employee or just a regular person. This employee wanted to promote her baking business.
Oh boy. I think I know where this may be going.
Oh yeah. Everybody with a clue knows where this is going. So she tells my daughter, hey, try this cookie. It's really good. So my daughter reluctantly, because she doesn't, she's a pretty strong woman, but doesn't like the face-to-face conversation when someone's trying to be nice. And she's like, oh, okay. About the end of her workday, she eats half of that cookie. And then she's not feeling good.
Were you saying she was hungry for more cookies after she ate the cookie?
She was hungry for more cookie. And this is a daughter that doesn't drink alcohol, never done drugs. And she calls me that night. She tells me what happens. She's like, Dad, I think that cookie had weed in it. And I was like, well, I don't know what. She's like, I felt so weird after I ate that cookie. She's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if I tell my boss. I don't know where to go, like what happened. I was like, well, first, you'd want to be sure that it has some
right.
cannabis in there.
Yeah.
And she took it over to her friends that are, cannabis
experts at the subject. Yeah.
Yeah. And had her friends try it, and her friends are like, oh, yeah, definitely. So
they're like, can you get some more of these cookies, please?
Yeah. So, to your point, like, you don't know what's in there, even what's sitting out. And, I'm a germaphobe. We all know this. So, I like clean stuff. I can't eat buffets that much. I can't eat other people's cooking. I just don't do it unless I really know them.
Speaking of buffets, do you remember the buffet called Shoney's?
Oh, I do. There's still a couple around. When I travel, I see some.
We talked about Branson, Missouri, but the only one I know of is in Branson, but not the point of the story. That's literally the only one I knew. So when I was younger, there was quite a few around, but the one we went to, and you're talking about why we don't go to buffets. I'm talking about something I see once, and again, I'll never get out of my head. I'm probably 14 years old, let's say. I'm going to Shoney's. Man, this is delicious. What a treat, right? I look over, and there's this woman, probably 20, 25 years old. She got her hairnet on. She's behind the glass, and I'm waiting my turn. And I see her, but she wasn't even trying to hide it. She looks around like that, didn't give two S's, and goes down and just starts eating some of the food. I think it was a chicken nugget and some macaroni. She put her fingers into the macaroni and put it in her mouth, and then like she thought no one would see her, and then she took a chicken tender. I'll never forget the chicken tender too. And as a 14-year-old kid, I shouldn't care that much, right? Or that shouldn't. But I'm like, yeah, and I don't think I've ever been to a buffet ever again. If I have, it's been a fancier one. But yeah, things sticking with you. When you see, is there anything like that in your life that you've seen? It don't have to be about food, but an experience where you're like, yep, never again. This scarred me for life.
No, nothing like drinking bad alcohol. We have all that.
Sure.
But nothing. I guess you can say food, and I've seen like dirty hotel rooms because I've traveled, and it's changed. I guess my style of the way I check in because I will spray the room down with Lysol.
Yeah.
I will iron the bed in order to, if you iron a corner of the bed, like it's supposed to bring up the bed bugs because the bed bugs are attracted to heat. So I will iron the corner of the bed sometimes if it looks real filthy to see if the hotel's got bed bugs.
Okay.
So I think just being in dirty hotels, but it's funny because Joel asked me, like, you weren't like this when we were younger. Like, when did you ever become, like, very OCD? Everything's got to be clean. And it came later in life. And I think now, since I'm so busy all the time, I just don't want to get sick because I can't afford to get sick.
Totally get that. You know, I don't have time to be sick.
Right.
I got too much to do.
Right. So, you know, kids are sick. You're in your room, you know.
Do you ever iron things down here at Barggianos to make sure there's no bed bugs?
I don't.
I mean, our booths are pretty clean. We have people in 3 times a week to take care of that.
It's the pump room that I worry about, and it's not the bed bugs.
That's a whole nother episode. But
yeah.
The pump room.
I want to take a black light back into that pump room.
I want to do it.
I think that will be an excellent short. We'll do blacklight pump room at Barggianos.
It sounds like an autumn special. I like it.
Yeah,
spring,
I love
fall,
it.
and autumn. We can do it all.
Yeah. But, you know, speaking of spring, fall, and autumn, we should have Barggianos coming soon for this podcast.
Yeah, I think, you know, for when I say I produce these episodes, but like audio, visually, and all that kind of stuff, I always try to make it perfect. But I think with that, I say we just go out there and do it, have some fun. Because one of the past episode was we had one bonus episode, which I'm hoping to do some more of those when it gets the warmer and vacations and stuff. That bonus one was one of the like highest rated. And we just sat here with 101 like we were FaceTiming. So I'm hoping with the garage one we can have some fun, just, you know, let loose, and nothing has to be perfect. And you could even do live an episode too, so people could interact. They could call in, they could, you know, chat, all that kind of fun stuff too.
Chuck, you bring me to the best part of the night.
Uh-oh.
Do I got to be nice or mean?
I know where this is going. Go ahead.
Like, subscribe, hit all that, and share.
Well, someone's got to promote the show, so I appreciate it. Again, cheap plug. If you guys please, anything that you need to find out about Barggianos, you can go to barggianos.com. If you need to, if you'd like to email us, contact us, maybe send some suggestions, you can email us at barggianos@gmail.com. We're out there on TikTok. We're out there on Instagram, Facebook, and
X,
everything. So, TikToks and the Facebook Reels and the shorts and all that fun stuff. Everything that takes my time, and I love it all. So, hopefully everybody's liking those shorts, and anything else you guys want to see, let us know. So,
my daughter's the biggest fan.
Is she?
Yeah, and watches every episode. Sometimes she gets to watch them before I do. I mean, because we go back out there and watch them once they're public. And she gets to it before I do, which is crazy.
Oh, I'm glad somebody from your family's watching it, man. Yeah. Did your wife know that you're on a podcast yet?
She's like, tonight, she's like, why aren't you gone already? I was like, do you know where I'm going? She's like, why aren't you gone? I was like, I'm going to do a podcast. I'll be back. And she's like, yeah, that's why I asked why you're gone. So she knows, she's never listened. So, I could get it out there like, hey, I'm going to do a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And
I get you.
Yeah.
Well, and like I said, we appreciate everybody listening, and we are growing. We're growing slowly, but we are growing. So hopefully everybody jumps on the train and joins us in this fun adventure.
So speaking of growing, not like grower or shower.
Okay.
Speaking of growing,
I was about to get weird. Go ahead.
Is it growing?
I think it's.
I want to make sure I say it right. Like Cheerios.
It's growing.
Growing.
Grown would be like a grown ass man.
Okay.
Growing would be like a verb, an act of doing.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. English major. So, with that being said, we have a short fan mail question.
Okay.
So, let me pull this up. So, this one's similar to one we did in the past, but it's a little bit shorter, so we're going to get to this. I think this would be pretty simple for you, but bring some good, I'd like some background on your answer. They didn't ask for background. if you could have dinner with one person who is either dead or alive, who would it be, and what would you talk about?
And this, I can't have dinner with you, right?
Correct.
Okay. That's okay. I like that question.
Dead or alive?
I'm going to cheat.
Okay.
And I'm allowed to because it's our show. I'm going to say my grandpa's. I was like 3 years old, 2 years old when the one died, and apparently he was a big partier. He may have had a Barggianos podcast himself one day. You never know. But he always liked me. He was kind of a grumpy man besides that. This was the old school thing. My dad said he'd go over there he'd show up after work and he'd eat. Then he'd go to the bar, go home and eat, and go back to the bar. Like this was back in the day. So he said my dad would be sitting there and he'd be smoking and blowing in his face. But the point of the story is you're like, why do you want to meet this guy? But he loved me. When I was born, I guess I was the first grandson. And he always said, I can't wait one day I would drink with Chuck and all these things. So it might be a sad thing. Maybe he was an alcoholic. I don't know. But I've always wondered about that. Like what was he like? I think he was a security guard at I think a Ford plant or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah, I would pick one of the two of the grandma and grandpas to meet because I think it would be fun.
Isn't it amazing? Like you talk about, he was maybe a security guard at the Ford plant. With today's economy, like who could be a security guard and live comfortably? But back then they could.
That's true. We do pay our security very well here, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody's ever looking for some, little side gig, even a side gig, the per diem, it pays fantastically.
One beer an episode. Come on down.
Let's do half a beer.
Half?
Recession.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe a quarter of a shot of Carmessi.
Oh, yeah.
We can
throw in a little bit of Carmessi.
Yeah.
But anyways, back to you. What would be your one person that you could have dinner with? What was it? Have dinner with?
Yes.
Alive or
So when I was
dead?
reading the question, I didn't know where you were going to go. I was like, ooh, is it going to be a famous person? Is it going to be a dead person? And that really got my mind turning because I had someone in mind.
It wasn't my grandpa, was it?
No.
That'd be weird. Go
Your
ahead.
mom.
Oh God.
But no, I'm sorry. I think that's like the first your mom joke we've thrown out here.
Is that because you loved her or is it because she was dead and this question fits in here?
Because I French kissed her that one time.
Oh, boy.
I don't know if she knows yet, but it
man.
happened. So I'm going to stick with my original answer just because, it's always bad. And
You're sticking with my mom?
No.
Oh, who are you talking about?
So the first thought that came into my mind, and I don't know.
My mom's dead, by the way, so everyone applauds Matt. Go ahead.
Oh, where's that button?
No, you don't get a button.
So I don't know if I'm going to pronounce this last name right, but Gary Vaynerchuk.
Are you like looking around the bar to make up names?
Yeah. Have you ever heard of Gary V?
Johnny Mere Popcorn Machine.
He goes by Gary V. He owns like Vander Media. He started as a young kid. His dad owned a wine business.
Okay.
And
is he alive?
Yes. Yeah. Very popular on social media in the business space.
Okay.
And he's very real. And when I say real, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. And that's the kind of guy I am. Like, don't sugarcoat. And he curses like a sailor. He's a big presenter. Probably costs, tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. But he'll tell people will get up and ask questions like, hey, if I wanted to leave my job because I'm not happy, and he'll say to the likes of, fuck you, be a man, and quit your fucking job if you're not happy. Control your fucking life. But he's also, there's things that he talks about his employees that work for him. And, there's things like people will ask, like, how do I know if I'm making the right decision hiring this person? And he's like, you don't. But what you need to do is fire fast when you found out you fucked up.
So get to the point.
Yeah.
Cutthroat.
Yeah. And so, I've watched a lot of his reels. I've watched a lot of his podcasts that are out there. He's got a few different ones. This guy worked a gazillion hours at a young age, didn't really, I'll say, live or enjoy. Maybe he enjoyed his younger years because this is what he wanted to do, but he didn't, live the normal person life of being a 20-year-old, going on vacation, hanging out with friends. He was always working to build his empire that he's got now. So
he put in the work early in life.
Yeah, and he's still putting in work, I'm sure.
Well, I don't mean that, but I'm saying he, like, when everybody else was jacking around and partying, he actually put his nose to the pedal of the ground, and analogy I can't think of. So, yes.
Yeah. Nose to the grindstone?
Well, it's not, I don't know what I was trying to say.
Yeah, Cheerios. So, yeah, just to have a one-on-one conversation with him. I'm always busy. I got I feel I have a very keen sense of business, and I like business stuff. So just to figure out, maybe he can be like an hour-long psychiatrist for me.
Ooh, okay.
But there's other people on that list, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to stick with my initial answer because I didn't realize, I'll be honest, when I first read this, I didn't realize it said dead or alive.
I got you.
So,
there'd definitely be many people. That'd be kind of a 3-part question, like maybe one of each, dead, alive, and what's the third one?
So go alive.
Alive? Oh man, I don't know. Probably something that would maybe like relating to like what we're doing here. Someone either like can give us advice, or someone that could get us some notoriety, like like a nice guest that could say, "Oh yeah, let's give these guys a break and see what they got to offer." But no one specifically off mind, but
Gary V.
Yeah,
like he can do all that.
No, I think it'd be great. So
yeah,
well, you'll reach out to him. Can you make that happen for us?
Maybe, you never know.
Okay, well, maybe tag him in this video, and
right,
Gary, we'd appreciate it very much. So,
Gary V, I love your content, man. Yeah, I love it.
It'd be an honor.
I'm gonna turn Chuck on to watching some of your reels here, and he'll be watching soon. You'll have an extra follower by the end of the night.
Okay, but please don't turn me on. Besides that,
yeah. So, anyway, Chuck, I think it's what again. Let's go back. Thanks for the fan mail. For the people sending it in.
Absolutely. Thank you for caring.
Yeah, and then, like we've said, we're getting very close to additional guests on the show, which we're hearing feedback that people absolutely love. So we're trying to set up more of that for our fan base and continue to listen because we're enjoying everything that's coming in, all the feedback. So positive or negative, if you got anything for us.
Bring it, baby.
If it's negative, send it to Chuck. It's Chuck's fault. I'm only positive vibes here.
Yeah, that's really true. And also too, we got, like I said, with summer here coming up, whatever. Yeah. We're gonna do some fun stuff.
So if you want to see Chuck streaking, Derek in a thong, like send us your ideas. We'll make it happen. I'll make it happen. I don't know.
You're not going to turn me on again, are you?
Well, I do that every night. Just walking down the stairs, that should happen.
This is true. You have a nice shadow.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, thanks for coming. Listeners,
oh, yeah.
Thanks for listening. And as always, Barggianos out.